It was a balmy June evening in Pleasant Valley Heights, the kind where the air feels like a soft blanket and crickets hum their lazy summer tune. Ethan Harper, a tech support guy by day and a lover of quiet porch nights, sat on my backyard swing, a book in one hand, a glass of iced tea in the other. A single jar candle flickered on the table beside me, its scent ocean breeze drifting gently, calm and unassuming. Or so I thought. Little did I know, that tiny flame was about to ignite a neighborhood war that would make the local Facebook group explode. The trouble started with my neighbor, Margaret. She's the kind of person who'd complain about the sun being too yellow. I heard her before I saw her hurried footsteps crunching gravel, her voice slicing through the evening like a siren. "Ethan! Ethan!" she called, storming around the side of her house, one hand flapping near her nose like she was swatting a swarm of invisible bees. "Do you smell that?" I looked up, genuinely confused. "Smell what, Margaret?" I sniffed the air. "Fresh cut grass, maybe a hint of someone's barbecue down the street." "You mean my candle? It's ocean breeze. Pretty nice, right?" Her face twisted like I'd just confessed to dumping toxic waste in her yard. "Nice? Nice saw? It's overpowering, Ethan. It's noxious saw. It's wafting right into my sunroom where I'm trying to enjoy my chamomile tea." She gestured wildly toward her house, as if my 3-inch candle was launching a full-scale olfactory ascendant attack. I glanced at the candle, sitting innocently on my table, a good 15 feet from her property line. The breeze was barely a whisper. "Margaret, it's just one candle. I can hardly smell it from here." "Don't you dare minimize my sensitive ties," she snapped, pressing a hand to her temple like she was auditioning for a soap opera. "I have delicate sinuses. They're inflamed. This chemical concoction is giving me a pounding migraine." I tried reasoning. "It's my porch, Margaret. It's one small candle. Maybe close your sunroom window if it's bothering you." "How dare you suggest I inconvenience myself because of your inconsiderate fumigation?" She sputtered, then spun on her heel and marched off, declaring my candle an olfactory assault and threatening a formal complaint. I sat there, bewildered, the ocean breeze now feeling more like a storm brewing. The next few days were a masterclass in escalation. Margaret called the non-emergency police line, reporting suspicious fumes from my yard. Officer Patel showed up, sniffed the air, confirmed it was just a candle, and left, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. But that only emboldened her. I tried compromising, switched to unscented paraffin candles, moved them behind a potted plant, even stopped burning them outside altogether. I bought a diffuser for my office, using the faintest hint of lavender, windows shut tight. Peace at last? Nope. Margaret knocked on my door, whispering conspiratorially, "Ethan, I don't want to alarm you, but I think your insulation's faulty. I keep smelling something floral seeping into my levying room. Could be mold." "Mold? From my diffuser?" I was done. Over beers with my buddy Nate, I vented. "I even got her a HEPA air purifier. She said the motor's ozone smell was worse than the candle. There's no winning." Nate grinned. "Man, you gotta fight fire with fire, scent with scent. Get one of those misting fans from restaurants, load it with Glade, and aim it at her house." He was joking, but my brain lit up. Not a fan, something precise, controlled, a scent barrier to reclaim my yard. A misty shield of lavender or chamomile, subtle and calming. I went home, grabbed my laptop, and dove into research: irrigation systems, patio misters, fog machines, nozzles, pumps, remotes. My frustration morphed into giddy purpose. Operation Scent Shield was born. First, I called trusty Tom's Plumbing. Tom, whose voice sounded like he'd gargled gravel, didn't blink at my request to add a new sprinkler zone along the fence I shared with Margaret. "Need misting nozzles for my prize-winning ferns," I said, trying to sound legit. "They're, horizontal ferns. Need side misting." A long pause. "Horizontal ferns?" Tom repeated, skeptical. I could hear him picturing my fernless yard. Your money, kid. Sideways misting for your ferns, remote controlled. $600, plus you order the nozzles. He knew I was up to something but didn't care enough to say no. 2 days later, Tom laid the PVC pipes, neat and green, along the fence, disturbing Margaret's perfect lawn just enough to make me smirk. The brass nozzles arrived, tiny but potent, and Tom angled them slightly upward as I'd asked. Margaret watched the whole time, peering through her blinds like a hawk. Nate, washing his car across the street, wandered over. New sprinkler system, Ethan? Getting fancy? Just upgrading for the ferns, I said, blocking Margaret's VYEW of the nozzles. That evening, the setup looked slick, almost professional. I made a mental note to buy fake ivy for camouflage. Then Margaret's door creaked open. She stood there, silhouetted, staring at the pipes. She didn't speak, but her suspicion hit me like a heat wave. I retreated inside. Phase 1 was done. Now I needed the scent. Finding someone to weaponize pleasant smells wasn't easy. HVAC guys weren't interested, irrigation folks only cared about drip lines. Then, on a haunted house forum, I found Fogmaster99, real name Jakey, a guy whose profile pic showed him grinning beside a dragon-shaped smoke machine. If you can dream it, I can mist it. His tagline read. Perfect. On a crackly VY Deo call, Jake, in a faded Metallica tee with neon blue hair, leaned into his webcam. Remote-controlled, multi-scent mist dispersal? Epic, dude. Subtlety's my middle name. He held up a contraption of acrylic tubes and valves. My scent matrix injector. We preload lavender, chamomile, whatever, and the remote switches scents. Ninja mist, silent but fragrant. Gentle and moderate settings only, I said. No lights, pocket-sized remote, big panic off button. Jake nodded, sketching on a tablet. No lights, panic button, got it. Like a Bond gadget for aromatherapy. He arrived a week later in a van reeking of fog juice, unloading cases with manic energy. He wired the pump, mounted the injector, and linked it to Tom's pipes, all while ranting about atomization dynamics. Margaret, naturally, gardened suspiciously close, her hose, accidentally, spraying near Jake's electronics. Ma'am, high-voltage gear and water don't mix! Jake yelled. She sniffed and ignored him. Her antics drew another police visit. Margaret called 911, claiming Jake was installing a chemical weapon. Officers Patel and Kim arrived, looking ready to quit. Ethan, Patel sighed, eyeing Jake tweaking a nozzle. Margaret says you're building a hazardous device. Oh, that's just Jake, my atmospheric tech, I said breezily. Upgrading my eco-friendly pest deterrent. Essential oils peppermint, citronella keeps mosquitoes and squirrels off my prized tomatoes. I had no tomatoes. Margaret, now spying with binoculars, shrieked. He's lying! It's aimed at my sunroom! It's Wi-Fi enabled! Patel's eyebrow arched. Cameras? Wi-Fi? Nope, I said, relieved Jake's system was radio-controlled. Just pipes, nozzles, and good intentions. Kim sighed. Keep it on your side, Ethan. No spraying people, pets, or Margaret's petunias. They left, muttering about our nuts neighborhood. Margaret retaliated with HOA notices. Unapproved fence modification, non-standard irrigation. Even airborne particulate violations. My favorite? Olfactory nuisance via artificial fragrance. This from the woman who declared war on ocean breeze. I spent hours battling bylaws, drafting rebuttals, drowning the HOA in red tape. It was exhausting but weirdly fun. If I couldn't win with mist, I'd win with paperwork. The system was ready for its first test. Jake guided me via VY Deo call. Hit button 7 for a gentle lavender puff. I squinted at the remote's tiny icons. Sure it's not the purge button? Trust me, I coded it, Jake said. Famous last words. I pressed 7. Instead of a puff, a saw whoosh saw erupt heat a massive citrus plume, not lavender, blasting sideways over the fence. It nearly hit Margaret, who was, of course, tending her roses right on the property line. She ducked, shrieking. The mist kept going, soaking Gary, the UPS driver, mid-delivery. "What the heck?" he yelped, dripping lemony goo. "My scanner's sticky!" "Abort!" I yelled at Jake, mashing what I thought was the panic button. Wrong. It cycled since. Jake finally killed it remotely, Leah VYing a citrus haze, a furious Margaret, and a soggy Gary. The misting incident hit the neighborhood Facebook group fast, with Gary's blurry photos. Nate dubbed it the Spritz schism, splitting Pleasant Valley. Teen Ethan folks fed up with Margaret's winching bans and recycling bin crusades cheered me on. "She's had it coming since she called my lawnmower too green," Tim Garcia posted. Team Margaret, their allies, worried parents, and property value obsessives freaked out. "My Timmy has asthma," one mom wrote. "This is dangerous." I tried damage control, insisting it was just water and oils, harmless as a humidifier. Gary's post about his lemon-scented uniform shorting his scanner didn't help. The HOA called an emergency meeting. Margaret left a note on my door, comparing me to a fungal spore. I was done playing nice. The breaking point came during Margaret's garden club luncheon, a ruthless gathering of women who judged petunias like they judged souls. I was grilling chicken when Margaret's voice carried over the fence. "The air quality's dreadful, Agnes. My neighbor's burning toxic fumes." Toxic fumes? From my chicken? That was it. I strolled to the fence, pulled out the remote, set it to chamomile, gentle breeze, wide cone. As Margaret ranted, I muttered, "She wants scent? She'll get scent." I pressed the button. A soft chamomile mist drifted over, right into the luncheon. Margaret froze mid-sentence. Her guests sniffed, confused. One sneezed. Another fanned herself. Chaos erupted. Margaret's eyes locked on mine. She saw this was no accident. Her face went crimson, clashing with her lilac pantsuit. "He sprayed us!" she screamed. "Ethan Harper attacked the garden club!" Within minutes, my street was a circus. 2 cop cars, a fire truck, and Miss Clark from code enforcement with a suitcase-sized air monitor. Margaret waved HOA bylaws, sobbing to Officer Kim about assault with deadly fragrance. I tried explaining to Patel. Just a tiny chamomile puff. Barely noticeable. The garden club, now demanding oxygen, disagreed. Miss Clark's monitor beeped. "Detecting bisabolol and apigenin," she said, baffled. "Chamomile derivatives." "Proof!" Margaret crowed. Then disaster. Maybe Jake ran a diagnostic. Maybe I leaned on the remote. Maybe the system went rogue. With a deafening saw whoosh saw, it blasted on max, dousing everyone in citrus. Margaret was drenched. Patel sputtered, wiping mist from his eyes. Clark's monitor took a direct hit. Even a firefighter got soaked. Silence fell, broken by dripping nozzles and Margaret's gasps. Kim, eerily calm, said, "Ethan, we need to talk. Indoors." The aftermath was brutal. Mediation at town hall with Margaret, still damp, mediator Susan, Patel, and Clark clutching her ruined monitor. "The Misty Spritz Cannon 5000 is decommissioned," Susan declared. "Margaret, no more complaints about candles or grills unless they break codes. Communicate directly first." Margaret demanded I pay to demist her plants. I added, "If she gripes about my toaster, I'm building a crumb catapult." Patel stifled a laugh. We signed the truce, reeking of citrus and compromise. Weeks later, Jake dismantled the cannon, Leah VYing capped pipes and disturbed plants. I sat on my swing, the air smelling of grass and Nate's barbecue. Tentatively, I lit a white tea light. Margaret emerged, saw it, sniffed twice, then miraculously turned away, fanning her plants with a paper fan. No shrieks. Victory? Maybe. "That was a dumb, costly, fragrant mess," I murmured, pulling a tiny sandalwood spritzer from my pocket. With a quick glance, Ghost's clear eye gave my swing a delicate spritz. The scent wrapped around me, legal and mine. The cannon was gone, but the spritz lived on, quiet but defiant.